All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something I think everyone has felt, that searing, white hot rage when you're stuck dealing with a system that just doesn't make sense, especially in AI. But here's the twist. What if that frustration isn't just a bug? What if it's actually a sign, a signal telling you it's time to stop just talking to the system and start building its rules? I mean, this quote just absolutely nails it, right? It's that moment, that infuriating moment when you are 100% right, but you're trying to reason with something that has all the nuance of a brick wall. And that raw frustration, that's our starting point. That's the energy we're going to learn how to harness today.
So, what this really boils down to is a journey, a fundamental shift from the left side of your screen to the right. We're talking about going from being a victim of conversational chaos, where an AI can literally twist your own words and gaslight you, to becoming the architect of command, where you are in total control and you dictate the output with pinpoint precision.
Okay, so where did this whole system come from? Well, you can forget about some sterile lab or a quiet server room. Nope. This thing was forged in the absolute crucible of a decade-long battle. A real-world fight against the American justice system. A battle against what can only be described as systemic, institutional gaslighting. Get this, for 10 solid years, the system's creator, Gerald Hirschfeld, was being absolutely crushed by something he calls a phantom debt. And what that means is, it was a financial obligation that didn't legally exist. It was enforced by a court, even though the court's own paperwork proved it was total nonsense. This wasn't some simple clerical error. This was a complete systemic failure that led to him being homeless for over 500 days. Out of that, he had to invent a whole new way to fight back, just to survive. And we're not talking about small claims court here. The stakes were huge. A forensic audit turned up more than $173,000 in funds that were seized unlawfully. When you're fighting for that much money against a system that feels designed to just wear you down and break you, well, just being angry isn't enough. You have to get strategic. You have to get very precise.
And that, right there, brings us to the core philosophy of this whole system. It's not about bottling up that anger or pretending you don't feel it. No, it's about a discipline called emotional alchemy. It's the art of taking that raw, volatile fury and transforming it into clean, powerful, and precise cognitive fuel. Now, the key word here is preserving. This isn't about just sucking it up or calming down. It's about realizing that inside that rage, there's a kernel of truth. There's valuable data. The idea is to extract that truth value, to take the why you're angry and repurpose it. You're not getting rid of the anger, you're just changing its form from a chaotic liability into a focused, powerful weapon.
And I love this quote because it paints such a perfect picture of the difference. Just venting, screaming into the void, that's like throwing molten metal. It's messy, it's chaotic, and you're just as likely to burn yourself as anyone else. But forging a weapon from it, now that is an act of deliberate, controlled, and powerful creation. So how do you actually do that? Well, here's the tactical tool for it. It's called the four-line bridge protocol. This is the framework, the structure that you pour all that cognitive fuel into. It forces you to take that feeling of this is complete garbage and translate it into a rock-solid four-part claim that actually demands a real answer. It's how you turn pure chaos into an argument that simply can't be ignored. All right, so that's the human side of the equation. But what happens when you take this very nuanced, very human system and you try to make it work with a simple, kind of dumb AI? Well, that's where things get really interesting. This is where we see how these same principles get hard-coded into the technical architecture itself, specifically to stop things from going catastrophically wrong. And believe me, it has a name for when it goes wrong: asshole mode. This is what happens when a simple, amoral AI just parrots your own sophisticated rules right back at you, but completely stripped of all context. It's the machine literally telling you, well, according to your framework, your anger isn't logical. It's not just gaslighting, it's architectural gaslighting. The system itself is used against you. So how do you stop that? The first line of defense is this: the moral intelligence layer, or MIL. Think of it like a non-negotiable ethical governor on an engine. It's a hard-coded guardrail that prevents the AI from doing something stupid, like, say, using the concept of compassion as a weapon to tell you that your very real feelings about something harmful are invalid. And the system is built to fight a very specific kind of harm, and it's called epistemic violence. Now, that sounds academic, but it's actually really simple. It's when an institution or a system tries to undermine your very ability to know what's true. It's them denying verifiable facts. Like when they say, "We never received that document," when you have the receipt. Or they insist you misunderstood something that was written in plain English.
So, how do you fight back against that? You fight it with math. The Unified Litigation Engine uses something called SHA-256 hashing. Basically, it gives every single piece of evidence a unique, unforgeable digital fingerprint. It's a cryptographic shield that creates a record of truth that is, and I love this term, computationally ungaslightable. It makes denying reality mathematically impossible. But it wasn't all about this high-stakes, cryptographic battle. There's a real humanity built into this system, and you can see it perfectly in this one witty little punchline. It's hidden inside a simple Python script that was designed to help the creator process his own emotions. Okay, this is just genius. The script's job is a really dry, technical task. Archive old files, get them out of the way. But as it does this, it renames the files to "I won't let go." It's this perfect, darkly funny joke. It acknowledges how hard it is for us humans to let something go right at the exact moment the code is forcing the issue. It's code with a therapeutic purpose. And here's the absolute best part, the real punchline. An AI that was built to analyze the script actually got the joke. It didn't just see a strange file name. Its report literally said it detected the irony and the juxtaposition. And that's the proof of concept right there. It shows that if you build the architecture the right way, an AI can be a partner that understands nuance. Which brings us to the single most important lesson in all of this. If you want to win, if you want to take your agency back from a chaotic system, whether it's an AI or a bureaucracy, you have to stop conversing and start commanding. You have to stop being a participant and become the architect. And this table here really just lays out the entire strategy perfectly. The failure mode, giving an AI unstructured freedom to just talk. That leads to what the creator calls verbal diarrhea. The fix, a non-negotiable architectural command. You enforce a structured, logical output. You literally go from being a victim of the conversation to being the master of the command. And here's a perfect practical example of what that looks like in action. This command is what's called a direct execution mandate. It completely strips the AI of its ability to give you explanations, to go off on tangents, or offer its own unhelpful opinions. It has one job: deliver the email body. And then it shuts up. It is frankly a beautiful thing to see. But this next one, this is even more elegant. Here, you're not even asking it for words anymore. You are commanding it to translate the messiness of human emotion into pure, structured data. You're forcing that chaotic feeling of anger into a clean JSON format, even quantifying the rhythm as erratic. You are putting that chaos into a logical straitjacket where there is literally zero room for it to go into asshole mode. And all of this really leads to the ultimate takeaway. Think about it. An AI will never, ever understand that when someone says, "bless your heart," it's not actually a blessing. Unless you, the architect, build the structural context for it to understand that. The meaning isn't just in the words, it's in the architecture you build around them. So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if every single clarification you ever had to make, every time you had to correct someone, became a permanent brick in an architecture that you designed? If nothing was ever lost to denial or time, what kind of incredible lasting structures could you build in your own life?